Commissioner Phelps?
Present.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Present.
Commissioner Potts?
Present.
Attorney Fowler?
Present.
Lieutenant Holden?
I hate that. Okay, we need a motion to accept the minutes of the May meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then let's do the one-day licenses, Center Board and St. George Greek Church. Like a one-day license for Center Board Friday, October 10th, and the Greek Church would like to do their annual 3-day festival.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to waive the fees.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, then we have 3 common victuals. Anyone here from Bernie's Place, Ingrid Cruz? Hi, come on up front. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. Want to tell us a little something about your?
Sure. So this is when we were reopening, it was Philly's Pizza before, so we're reopening and we're keeping the same idea of pizzas and sauce, but we're also adding, burritos, quesadillas, salads, pasta. So, hopefully the population will like the change.
What are your hours, Governor?
It's gonna be Monday through Saturday. No, sorry, Sunday through Saturday. We're gonna be closing on Sunday, so it's just Monday through Saturday, yeah. And we're, it's just food just now.
6 to 9 every day?
Yes, for now, maybe we'll change in the future.
Any questions?
Motion to grab the conflict license. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Okay, thank
Good luck.
you.
Stop by tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Then we have El Chita Grill, 418 Washington Street. Jose Ortega. Anyone here? They're on hold, so. No? Nope.
So
Okay.
do you need to stay?
No, you're all set. All right, anyone here from CMB Bistro? All right, how you doing? Good, want to tell us about your business?
Okay, basically it's gonna be basically fresh smoothies, fresh juices, sandwiches, jalapenos, ice cream, like fresh salad. That's the gonna be the concept of what we're trying to sell. Healthy things, basically lots of things.
And how many days a week you gonna be open?
We're gonna be open for 7 days a week. Except Sundays that we're gonna plan to open more late. Instead of open 3, that we plan to open every day from 8 to 8, open the Sundays from 11 to 7.
Anyone have any questions?
I have no questions. Motion to conflict.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay, and, at this time, I'd like to suspend the order of the agenda and go right to the pocket licenses and Diverge Convenience. Is there anyone here from Diverge Convenience regarding the pocket license?
Yep. That is subject to a hearing that's on for tonight, involving Central Avenue. So Jose Perez is here.
Right.
Deborah Gold, who is his attorney, sent me an email that said she couldn't be here, and she was here, if you recall, at the last one.
Correct.
And she understood that other things were going to occur before this would come back. Well, those things have occurred.
Yeah.
The trustee in bankruptcy has dealt with Efrain Perez's interest, so that that's no longer an issue. I don't see Efrain here or his attorney. I've talked to Attorney Phelan with respect to the issue about the zoning, and I understood that he had come to some resolution of that. So
Right. We we do understand that, but there's a question as to who owns the actual liquor license that would be transferred or sold to.
Is there anything from the, I guess the biggest thing is we talked, and you said this, and I thought that you had indicated to me that you were going to receive something from,
The bankruptcy court discharged Efris's bankruptcy.
do we have that? thought
I
that-
don't have it because I don't represent Efris.
Right,
I was told that, and it's online, as far as I know. But Jose is here. I don't know whether he's had conversation with his brother Efris.
I was spoken.
So that,
I knew it was happening, I actually
Yeah.
checked when we spoke, it hadn't.
yeah. But, so and I'd say by the absence of Efris and the attorney that represented him, as I told you in other matters in the past, I'm prepared to buy the license from whoever somebody says is the lawful holder. And we've had experience before, where people show up and say, well, I lent money, or I did X, Y, or Z, and at the end of the day, that wasn't the case. But I don't represent those
I
individuals.
understand that.
I think I need an opinion from you.
Well, I mean,
We have this license.
I assumed, when we spoke, Sam,
Yeah.
I actually looked online, because you can just check on it. And
Yeah, right.
there'd been no action taken at that point in time.
The trustee, whose name is Joseph, I'm trying to remember his last name, had no interest in the license. Typically what happens when somebody files for bankruptcy and they list a license as an asset, the trustee will pursue it. Trustee did not pursue it, and as far as I know, the bankruptcy is resolved, so that it's not an asset that the trustees claim, okay? I can't speak to what Efris Perez, whether he still claims an interest or not.
They've been pretty active in calling me during the period of time, they just haven't called since then.
And then
assume that-
Attorney Gold, when she sent me the email, indicated that she was going to contact the female attorney who was here last time on behalf of Efris, and I have not, other than hearing from Attorney Gold, have not heard from anybody. So I can't speak to his
Do you have
interest.
that email, copy of that email?
I think I might, yeah. Let me look for it.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but that might shed some light as to whether it actually has been resolved.
Well, what it says is that she was unable to be here tonight, that the trustee in bankruptcy, I don't do bankruptcy, but she did, and I know you can check online, had not made a claim for the license. And I don't think you've received anything from the bankruptcy court with respect to that.
Other than the representations when they were here last time. Nothing from them, nothing from the bankruptcy court, absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
But it's possible that part of the dispute that the two attorneys had was whether it was rightfully or wrongfully listed as an asset. Because, I mean, I did go back and look, and from what I have from the ABCC, and I've always had, it says that Jose, there was an attempt to transfer the license from Jose to Efris, and that ultimately was denied by the ABCC. And so that leaves the license, I think, in Jose's name. And then I happened to be here in October when Efris was here. And I think that's the first time you all inquired because he had lost the building and the lease at Myrtle Street. And you gave him a period of time to deal with the license. In the interim, he filed for bankruptcy. And then I was approached by Javier, who said he had dealt with Jose, and I went through the same thing about we got to clarify who has or hasn't got the license. But we ultimately made an agreement that we would, deal with whoever had the license. And then there was those other issues that came up. I mean, I have a note that was prepared by Attorney Gold for the balance of the money that was going to be pledged, and she drafted this note between Jose and Vanessa for the $15,000 that would be the balance to be paid. I don't know that I have with me the email, but I got it yesterday or today from her saying she couldn't make the meeting.
I understand, I mean, did you want to be thinking to?
I called her on Friday, and I sent her a copy of the agenda that Debbie had provided to me. And she sent me back an email and said, I thought they weren't going to do anything on this. That's what they told me at the last meeting. I sent her back another email that said, no, that I had had conversation with you, and then I called, and that's why those folks are here, okay? She then sent me an email, I think it was either today or yesterday, saying, I cannot be there Tuesday night, I'll speak with Jose. Has she spoken to you?
She did, yeah,
Okay, when did she speak to you?
yesterday.
Okay, so this happened yesterday. And I don't know what communication, other than with the trustee in bankruptcy, she represented to me, she spoke to the trustee in bankruptcy. He was, I think she used the word discharging the bankruptcy. And
That's what she said to you?
yeah, discharging the bankruptcy, right. And that he had no claim to the license. So I said, what about the other attorney? She said she would contact Efris's attorney.
She do have proof of that.
Excuse me?
She do have proof of that, the discharge?
She does?
Yes, she does.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have that with me.
Yeah, that's on the, see, we're not involved directly in the
I
bankruptcy.
understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of tricky to move forward without seeing that.
Well, I think we can, but that's a record you can get online, the bankruptcy discharge.
Right, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, and I checked earlier when we spoke.
Yeah, right,
I mean,
well,
I
that
just-
was, but that's sort of precipitated my conversations with her. Because, and that's why she was of the mind and either had something else scheduled or didn't think she was gonna be back.
I thought she said she was gonna be here.
Yeah,
I mean, when she was here, and it was listed, when we spoke, Attorney Vitale, when we spoke, I mean, it was still a dispute. I mean, it hadn't been discharged. I know that your
Right.
representations are there, and I
Yeah.
believe them. I would like to see that. I mean, she's been very vocal about being here. I mean, she has been.
Well, Efris talked to Deborah Gold, yesterday?
Oh, no, I spoke to her.
Yeah,
Yeah, she called me about the meeting.
all right. And she said the same thing she said to me?
Yes,
Which is that your brother's bankruptcy, the trustee get discharged.
that's correct.
Yeah, that's what we were told. But the only way you can confirm that is from the bankruptcy court.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm
I expected them to
reporting
be
what I
here.
was told.
I expected them to be
Yeah.
here because they've been here and they said they were going to be here, and I thought they
Yeah.
were going to be presenting the papers. That's what it, and
And I think it would be in our best interest to have all parties present and we have the papers.
It's
And I also think it will probably move forward at the next meeting, so it'd be to our benefit to,
if I may suggest, if it's presented beforehand, then maybe a special meeting could be called to deal with this matter prior to that. I just don't want to.
Well,
I need to,
I think
you need to
that,
see
I don't want to deprive anybody of their opportunity,
Right.
okay? But part of the conundrum is not of my making, it's,
I totally.
all right? And.
You've done more work for them, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah,
than
I mean, I
they-
represented Jose in the past, and why I can't do it now is because I had represented the brothers, and I told them I can't pick sides. So, and I don't want to be in that position.
If she could, I mean, I'll check. I will check first thing tomorrow, and if that's the case, then maybe we could present something, for a special meeting to deal with the other issue. Only because it's a bankruptcy proceeding, and I'd like to see that, Attorney Vitale. I know
Yeah.
you've done more for the other side than I think that.
Oh, yeah, but see, my gravest concern wasn't the battle of the brothers, it was the trustee. I mean, my experience in bankruptcy is that the trustees look for value and they see a license, they're gonna grab it.
And I would agree, if they're discharging that, then I think it frees everything.
Right.
But I think this board would be putting itself in some type of, I think the vote may be rescinded if they don't see that. And I'm not saying that what you're saying
Yeah.
isn't true,
Yeah,
but last time I looked, it hadn't been discharged. It hadn't been. And I expected them to be here, honestly,
Yeah.
I really did.
well, I thought even if Deborah wasn't gonna be here, that the other attorney would be here.
Exactly. Madam Chairperson, I defer to you. I think that there's a possibility that, or I think that waiting just to hear, or just to check on that might be the best thing.
that's what I.
Well, that way it's not what I say or you say, it's what the bankruptcy court
It's
says.
exactly right. It's official.
Yeah,
You can take administrative notice of that decision at that point in time, and then make a decision otherwise.
Make a motion, we continue the case until the August meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're doing the pocket licenses, I heard you say, correct?
Correct.
All right. The next one that I'm involved in was a bankruptcy. And that's the license that both Act has. And I'm waiting on actually picking door A or door B. Tedeschi's in McDonough Square, on the corner of Light and Summer. When I was here before, the question was whether they, as a corporate entity, have a policy against the sale of beer and wine. The answer to that is no. But based on my conversations with Attorney Phelan, as to whether the method that Commissioner Phelps had noted, whether I was going to do this again, in terms of whether I would get a special permit or not, hinges on really the resolution of the Central Ave one. But Debbie made a sound suggestion to me, and so I would say if you give me another month, I'm going to have to pick door A or door B. And what she said is, well, if it comes down that, based on what Attorney Phelan had told me with indicia of what's selling prepared foods, and that would preclude Tedeschi's from having the ability to take advantage of what I think is allowed in the zone ordinance, I would go by Debbie's suggestion, which is, since this license is really one that was in sort of that area, is to go get council consent for it. But, so that's where we're at. I can say to you that, Bo, you've been very helpful to Bo as an individual. Her father died in Cambodia, and her family has a tradition that if you're the oldest one, you have to take care of. So she's selling her business. She has a very successful business on Lewis Street, and she's selling that business to care for her mother. And so, I mean, we're just trying to wrap up her affairs. Attorney DeMarcus represents the new buyer at that location. But I said to him, we've already entered into an agreement, and if I'm going to go to council consent, I'm going to go to where we committed, which was because the license had been at 551 Summer Street in the past, we were going to go to the corner of Light and Summer.
Every Tedeschi's has prepared foods, individual foods, so I think, and I understand.
And I questioned them based on what you told me, and I got different answers than I did from Javier.
Okay.
So, but I think Debbie's suggestion was,
To wait.
well, no, she said if you can't do it that way, go do it the other way, which made a lot of sense.
Motion table to the August meeting. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, and is there anyone here from Casper Inc.?
That's, what?
Luna.
That's Johnny Myhouse.
Last time, and it's even in the notes we have, Century 21, I believe, was handling it, and they thought they had,
They were going to show us a listing agreement at this meeting.
Yeah,
that was in these minutes.
yeah, and it is.
It's in this, because
In the main minutes. I read it too, and
Yeah.
we were given them 3 months.
Mhm.
That we could go.
Yeah, so I mean,
You
we
know,
said 3 months, so
yeah, we
June,
did.
July, August.
So maybe just send a letter and ask her to appear in.
Motion continued till August.
Thank you.
Second?
I had a question on that too. I was going, huh? Okay, all right. All in favor? Yeah, yep, okay, so we're gonna send a letter too, okay? Good question, all right. Okay. All right. Now, we're gonna do what, to continue here and then transfer Jose Perez convenience store at Myrtle Street to
That's.
We just
74.
just
The
We just
whole-
discussed that, just
Everything.
put everything on.
That's everything, okay, that's what I want.
So it's able
Then I do-
everything to do with that.
Okay, because I thought it was just a pocket license, but that's okay. That's
Well, I think that makes sense to do
It
the
does.
pocket license first to
It
get that
does. But can I
information.
just ask one question? We did put in a notice in the paper saying that we were gonna have a public hearing on this for the May meeting. Should we do it again for the August meeting? So everybody has a chance to have their say.
We should.
So can we please add that too?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Yep, I
dot-
totally agree.
Dot our i's, cross our t's.
because it's been continued so many
So
times.
many
we might
times,
as well give it a
exactly,
little-
yeah, yeah, okay, all right. All right, is there anyone here from Max Pub, moving right along?
They requested a continuance, I spoke with their attorney.
Okay.
It's a conference, and they're going to actually propose many, and I've investigated their claims of speaking with the ABCC and some of the allegations, and they have. And their attorney is going to propose prior to the meeting some things that they can do, and they've asked for a 1-month continuance. I think we spoke about that earlier today, Madam Chairperson.
We did, we can break that here too, so, yeah, so we can motion to continue.
So moved. Second?
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And now, conference, Four Winds. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Patrick's the manager. We just had a hearing in front of the Conservation Commission a month ago. Today's the day that the order of conditions to make certain improvements to the exterior, finish the wall. Mrs. Lynn had been undertaken and then couldn't complete time. At that, I think I may have said this to you, I was slow coming back. At that hearing, nobody appeared.
Yeah.
So we were somewhat taken aback because there was an opportunity where people got noticed
Right.
and there was a public hearing and nobody spoke at that hearing in opposition. Partly because I think he's done a good job, but because of that and prior to this, Patrick's made several attempts to reach out to Paul Hayward, okay? And Paul Hayward's letter, it zigs and it zags, okay? So, what Patrick did is he wrote a letter, and he's got copies, and he actually tried to deliver it in hand, and he's made several attempts.
But I did leave it in his box. This was on June 28th, I guess prior. Sam had called me one day, I guess it was the beginning of June, and told me that there was a letter. He read it to me over the phone, so I drafted this in response to Mr. Hayward.
We might have conservation June 17th or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just said, Mr. Hayward isn't here, is he? No, he's not. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
So what Patrick did in his letter, which speaks for itself, is he addressed two things, I think. Specific complaints that he saw in the letter from Mr. Hayward. And then went beyond that to say how he sort of changed the overall environment there. And, you know, I drive by there every day. And I mean, it's obvious to the passerby how he has improved that operation. And I don't think the Four Winds has never come before you for a disciplinary matter. I mean, he's running a pretty decent place. I was just asking him about the trio that he had last night. And he told me there was a power failure, which I happen to know because I talked to people who were in the neighborhood. He had closed, but he had a full house for a trio. And but you can see, for example, things like making the air conditioning system improve so you can keep the windows closed so the noise doesn't escape. Putting in those triple panel windows, again, not only do you keep them closed, but you have them so sound doesn't escape. A couple of things that he was astounded by when he talked about it was that when they go and there's a complaint about bottles and cans, he doesn't serve it in cans, number one. But number two, countervailing to that complaint is that then when they're disposing properly of the bottles and cans, they're banging the dumpster or whatever. So I said, can you talk to these guys about either cleaning up earlier in the morning, like 8 a.m. as opposed to 2 a.m.? Can you tell them not to slam the dumpster? I mean, those are reasonable requests. And I think if you can see from the tone of his letter, he's not adversarial or confrontational, wants to go on with his neighbors.
Exactly.
And so I have to presume that Hayward's seen this letter and has gotten the calls, but he's, and his letter actually, what had me concerned is it came before the Conservation Commission meeting. I thought he was going to show at the Conservation Commission, but he didn't. And I checked today because the Conservation Commission approved it, but that doesn't mean that somebody couldn't appeal. And the appeal period's gone. I'm going to the registry tomorrow to record the order of conditions because there's no appeal.
I could just, I mean, I live just around the corner, it's my neighborhood. Place is always clean, never seems to be any problems there. My son goes to your place, I mean, you never have any problems. Monday nights, I know you've got the van there.
Sure.
Looks like you're getting a pretty good crowd, but I mean,
Great crowd, yeah.
I might drive by there 7 times a day. I don't see anything or hear anything. I think you've done a good job, you know, the place looks nice.
Thank you.
And we're working by getting the approval of the Conservation Commission to finish off the wall, to live in harmony with the people who are, I don't know about fishing, but apparently they do fly cast, what is it?
It's fishing.
Fishing
Off the
wall.
city
Yeah.
boundary there. Yeah.
So the Conservation Commission had, you know, concerns about the tree, about people fishing, but we satisfied.
I don't live right behind your place, but I think you've addressed those concerns.
I agree also, it's a great letter.
Great letter.
Yeah, I mean, I really did reach out.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be a thorn in the side
No.
of anybody, you know, but no.
Good job.
Motion to accept the files commending the business owner for taking this step here.
I'll give Debbie a copy.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
luck.
you.
Okay.
All right, so tomorrow I'll go with the record.
No.
Notice. The one thing I'm waiting on, there's 2 things. One is a DEP filing,
Yeah, okay.
and the second is
And
that
to
we have
ensure
to
that
get
he got a
notice of
copy of the letter, perhaps we send.
when,
48 hours.
yeah, right. And then when we get back,
Thank you, you know? All right? All right, thank you. Okay. All right, moving right on. Hearing on, Depot Liquors.
yes.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you? Yeah. It's my first time to see you. Wanna, perhaps tell us?
Have you seen the
what happened
report?
Yeah, I see it.
Without an officer here, could I just say, if you've seen the report, would you agree with the facts that are presented in it?
Yeah, I agree with it.
This is very unusual for you. 2 years I've been on the board, you've been very responsible. Yes, yes.
What happened?
That day is my son working, he's 31 years old. He worked almost 10 years with me. And, but he did a very good job, but at times he was check ID, looks like very young. So very precise check the Pennsylvania the license, but he couldn't find any false ID. So that's why he sold that, but later police find out that ID was it's fake ID, but it's very high quality license, the fake ID. So anyway, I feel we made a mistake.
Do you understand that we can't tell you what to take, but the only way that you have any defense is you should only be taking 4 different IDs?
Yes, I know.
So you shouldn't rely on Pennsylvania ID?
Sometimes we have an ID scanner, but at times ID scanner was change the program at a time, but he doesn't check with through the ID scanner.
Even if you scanned it, if it's a good ID, but it's not that person's ID, it's going to come back as a good ID.
Yeah. So we are not believe only the ID scanner, but we check the name and address, sometime background ID. We check a very precise ID, but anyway, so we sorry we made a mistake that time.
And I can't tell the political officer, did he put his picture on there? Is that what he did?
Yeah.
So it appears that
Yeah, they said
his
it
picture
was very
on there,
good
so-
quality, yeah.
I think in investigating this, that the old scanning machine doesn't work, and have you agreed that you're gonna purchase a new one? You're
Yes,
looking
we
into
have,
buying a new
yeah.
one? So that now they scan the new licenses, the hologram ones. When he purchased this, almost 20 years ago, I remember when you first bought the place, you bought that machine right away, but it's
Yeah.
kind of outdated at this point in time with the new licenses.
We always,
Can't get scanned through.
we always deal, which is especially the, looks like young people, we got a special pay attention all the time, me and all the people who work in my store. So, but at times my son is, very precise working, there's very, high quality, the paper ID, so sorry, so he made mistake, unfortunately, he find out the, fake ID. So later we are not accept any out of state license except the full ID, or mass ID, require some kind of passport.
Good, good.
So we more pay attention. So I will send him the tips program for the special education for him.
Good.
I try the best I can.
How long have you been there?
I'm here almost 15 years.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
Good. You're doing a great
Since I turned
job.
over,
Yeah.
Tom,
Yeah, that's what I'm.
yeah, Tom Iravino, since I take it.
Well, thank you for being honest with us,
Thank you so much.
especially, it's a big help to us.
Yes.
I would make a motion, we issue a written warning.
That's what all, Mark. I even looked at the street, it's just up the street. It wasn't like the kid was coming from halfway across Salem. It's right up by Walmart where you live, so.
This is a lot of years, and I can't remember the last time.
I don't
Have
ever
you
remember
been
seeing
here
it.
at all?
Long times ago, at beginning the first year, a few months later, so one of the employees, a young guy, he saw one of the minor people, because they was the state college made looks like a friend. So unfortunately, at times after the reporting changes, we are not tied on the. It looks like young people, we always hire over 30 years old people, and then because it's, when we cut the source, any relationship, friend or whatever. So, and then I walk into 4 hours, me and my family, we are very reliable. But anyways, we working so many hours, but we have to have. So sometimes we cannot trust the young people who work in my store, even though we don't know the people. We just
business.
make a mistake. So we always make it perfect. Always that's why we put this ID scanner and with special pay attention all the time.
Breath of fresh air.
I made a motion for written warning this time. I get upset when minors get served, I really and truly do.
I agree.
Really do.
So do I, but.
But yeah, I agree with you guys, in 15 years,
He's
I
been
mean.
very good.
All right,
and
all right.
It's,
Yeah.
it's my big pet peeve. But,
Okay.
I'm willing to give someone
It's
free
been-
pass once.
It's done a good job all these years. All right.
And it's honest when it comes.
So Mr. Carpenter made a motion.
I'll
for
second.
one. Mr. Phelps has seconded, and all in favor,
Aye.
unanimous, all right. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I tried my best.
Okay,
I know you will.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and then we have communications from the ABCC, and we'll do our part to make sure everyone knows, not to sell liquor minors. Okay, and then we also have a letter from the Brotherhood, Lynn Community Brotherhood, requesting permission to extend their premises for 1 day to include the backyard to serve meals and beverages for the state only on August 18th.
What's the occasion?
It's their annual lobster fest. It's a $35
I'm gonna get mine for takeout.
Right?
Lobsters are only $4 a pound.
Oh, but come on,
Because
you
everything
baked
was-
potato and
Motion
clam
approved.
chowder and Francella's pound cake.
You're not taking something out of your back seat, are you?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay. All right.
Police reports?
Okay, police report. Tony's Pub. That, I mean, that,
As you
I
know,
mean, that, he said he was in Tony's Pub. He wasn't sitting out
the
there.
standard is difficult to
Yeah,
prove
it's
that.
down on, yeah, it really
Because
is.
actually, visibly for us to prove anything on that, we
Right.
would have to actually have seen him serve there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, you know, and does Tony's, do they have a video surveillance system? I'm not sure if they do, I don't think they do.
I don't know, but he was well outside of the
He
establishment.
clearly
I
was.
mean, it was well past closing time, they were closed, I mean,
And,
it's.
and the police would know to go in and interview if someone were there
There,
to ask
exactly,
whether he was
exactly.
served.
Exactly, so I
Except
would
for the
say,
files.
except for files, without a finding. And Central Liquors, no, I honestly feel we should bring him in. I mean, I got two police reports, I don't know,
He's
second
been
one.
in quite a few times
Yeah.
before, so.
Something really needs to be done about that problem. It's his responsibility, so.
Well,
bring him in.
it all depends on who you're talking to. Conference or, hearing?
I say hearing, what do you think? Hearing?
I think you can call it in for a hearing, and if it turns into a conference, it could clearly just be that way.
So moved.
Hearing.
Second?
And once again, is there anyone here from L Chief to
The last one. JD's,
I don't have any.
JD's overcrowding and changes to the, make a motion to bring JD's in for.
Yeah, I think they changed their premises.
He went into the place next door.
And I guess it's a big dark tournament place now without it getting anything from it. That's the
I
new
guess
guy
they had this,
transferred.
it worked, they had just about the whole city together yesterday night.
Well, it's advertised online, it's like the dark tournament central place. And that's what he did in Beverly. was the
But
dark-
that transfer went through?
Yes. Yes, new one, Kevin changed.
Open said new business, down.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Before we go,
Yeah,
we
would
need to
like-
congratulate Commissioner Phelps on his service.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you so much. We need to.
Done a fantastic job for a lot of years.
I would like to thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yep.
Oh,
I will just say this, without going into details, you do a magnificent job. This one here, many years ago, you did a very nice job with my children over Pickering, and you continue to do a good job in this position. And the two gentlemen at the end of the table, nobody except those who've been involved in this board know what the two of you have done over the past 8 years. I remember back in the early 2000s when I came on, say it nicely, this board was a mess. We had no rules, no regs, no nothing. And when I came back the second time to see what the two of you did, outstanding job. You both
We
should be
thank
proud.
you.
wow.
You both should be proud. And to the Lynn police who aren't here tonight, I commend them. No one does a better job.
I want to thank the Buchanan.
And I will not read the Lynn item for a week or so after. Motion to adjourn.
Uh-huh.
Michael, thank you. Good guy, really.
Thank you.
Thank you.